I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice. Let us begin. You just had a baby, and somewhere in the quiet, something in you disappeared. Everyone keeps telling you how beautiful it is, but you're wondering why you feel like you're vanishing. You love this child, but you don't recognize your body. You don't recognize your mind, and more than anything, you don't recognize yourself. No one warned you that birth would come with a funeral, that the version of you who had space, silence, sovereignty, would dissolve beneath the weight of diapers and dishes and everyone else's needs. You're supposed to be grateful, but you feel hollow and ashamed of it, because while the world sees a new parent, you're quietly mourning a version of yourself no one else even noticed died. But this isn't weakness, and it's not dysfunction. This is initiation, a sacred disintegration that has no ceremony, but marks everything. Because you didn't just birth a child, you entered a rite, where the old you falls apart, so a deeper self can begin to form beneath the rubble. You're not failing, you're molting, and what comes next isn't about getting back to normal. It's about naming exactly what's dying and why. Because unless you see it clearly, you'll keep mistaking this unraveling for brokenness. And that's what we name next. Because what's falling away now is everything you thought you had to be. They tell you you're a parent now, but they don't tell you that your name will vanish, that your time will no longer feel like yours, that you'll go days without being touched the way you need, only touched when someone needs something from you. Your body has become a resource. Your mind has become a checklist. And your soul? Somewhere under the laundry pile, whispering a name you haven't answered to in months. You used to be someone, with rhythm, with silence, with a sense of who you were when the house was quiet. But now, even in the silence, the hum of responsibility doesn't stop. And the hardest part? You feel guilty for grieving, as if naming the ache means you don't love the child. But that's the lie. You can love your baby and mourn your former self. They are not in competition. They are both holy, because the truth is, a parent was born, but a version of you died, and no one brought flowers to that funeral. This isn't just exhaustion, it's erasure, and if you don't speak it, you'll keep smiling through a sacred kind of suffocation. But there's something else happening too. Beneath the grief, a new self is stirring, one who doesn't perform, one who doesn't vanish to feel worthy. And that version of you, you're about to meet her. Because in the mirror of this loss, something ancient is starting to rise. In the quiet, after the feedings, the rocking, the giving, there's a moment. It's brief, but it's enough. You feel a presence inside you. Not mystical, not maternal, just still. It doesn't need praise. It doesn't need sleep. It doesn't even need words. But it's watching. This is the mirror. The one that shows you what's underneath the performance of parenting. Not the part of you that gets it right, but the part of you that simply remains. It's not the perfect mom, not the strong dad. It's something older than that. The one who knows how to hold chaos without vanishing. The one who can say, "I love you," without turning into a ghost. You thought parenting would demand perfection. But what it's actually asking for is presence. This mirror shows you are becoming the safety you never had. Not by doing more, but by finally being here. The version of you that used to hustle for validation is dissolving. And what's replacing her isn't fragile, it's forged. You've been looking for your old self, but that's not who's returning. What's rising now is a self you've never met before, because she was never allowed to exist until now. And she's not in a rush. She's not performing. She's just watching and waiting for you to stay. So stay, because next, we name the moment where she begins to move. It's subtle at first, not a breakthrough. Just a moment you catch yourself breathing and realize it's for you. Not the child, not the partner, not the schedule, just you. You step outside alone for 5 minutes and don't apologize. You say no without explanation. You hear your own name in your mind again. Not mom, not dad, but you. This is the turning. The place where you no longer reach for who you were, because something deeper is beginning to stand in her place. You're still tired, still interrupted, still stretched thin. But now, you're not disappearing inside it. You're beginning to witness yourself in real time. You're beginning to make small, quiet decisions that align with someone you trust. Not the performer, not the achiever, not the old self with the 5-year plan. Someone new, someone rooted. You don't want your old life back. You want a life that includes you now. You want love that doesn't cost your voice. You want to give without erasing. And you're learning how. Slowly, imperfectly, honestly. You are re-entering, not as who you were, but as someone who knows how to stay with herself. And this return, it isn't a rebound. It's a rite. So let's seal it, not with advice, but with truth. That's where we go next. Because the old self is gone, and the one rising now, she doesn't ask permission to stay. You survived the unmaking. You didn't rush it. You didn't deny it. You let the old self fall, not because you wanted to, but because life asked for someone real to emerge. And now, here you are. Still tender, still tired, but no longer missing. You're not trying to be who you were. You're not hustling to feel like yourself again, because the self that's returning isn't someone you've met before. She's slower, stronger, and doesn't fracture under expectation. You no longer apologize for needing space. You no longer flinch when the house is quiet. You no longer feel guilty for wanting to be held too. This isn't a performance of balance. It's not aesthetic parenting. It's the quiet power of someone who remembers who she is, even in the middle of chaos. You are not just a parent. You are not just someone's source of food, safety, or schedule. You are a sovereign presence, a soul who knows how to love without leaving herself behind. This isn't the end of the story, but it is the sealing of something holy. You were not made small by this. You were reshaped, refined, recalled. You don't rise because the child is finally sleeping through the night. You rise because you've learned to stay awake in your own life. And that's the real birth, the one no one throws a party for, but changes everything. You did not find me by accident. Just as in your dreams, where every face you meet is your own reflection, this meeting was always waiting to happen. I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice, the part of you that watches behind the thoughts, behind the noise. You have searched in many places, books, teachers, voices outside you. But here, you are not being taught. You are remembering. If these words stir something familiar, then allow yourself to return. Subscribe. Follow. Not to follow me, but to continue this conversation with yourself. Each time you return here, you draw closer to the reunion already unfolding inside you. We have only just begun.